Sex Education left Otis Milburn and Maeve Wiley's love story in a bit of a roller coaster ride. Fans had been eagerly waiting for Netflix to deliver on the promise of a full-fledged romance between these two characters, but it took the show quite some time to officially make them a couple. Just when it seemed like they were finally getting together, Maeve's decision to pursue her writing grant in the US threw a wrench into their relationship at the end of Season 3. As we headed into Season 4, viewers were on the edge of their seats, wondering how things would unfold for Otis and Maeve. Despite the miles separating them, they managed to keep their romance alive through constant communication. However, maintaining a long-distance relationship is no walk in the park. Then, when Maeve returned to Moordale due to her mother's passing, it looked like their chance had finally come to be a real couple. But alas, their happiness was short-lived once again. Maeve decided to head back to America to continue her writing course, and this time there was no assurance that she would return. And just like that, their love story came to an end. It's been quite an emotional journey for fans of the show. The creators waited too long to pair them up. I totally get how Sex Education fans, especially those who've been shipping Maeve and Otis since day one, felt a bit let down by how their love story unfolded. But here's the thing. The ups and downs of their relationship were all tied to how Netflix decided to tell their tale. In the beginning, back in Season 1, they kicked things off with a bang. Otis and Maeve teamed up to run that secret sex therapy gig, and their chemistry was undeniable. It was a slow burn, with their friendship gradually turning into something more. Ending Season 1 without them officially getting together was actually a smart move. Netflix was keeping us on our toes, right? However, things got a tad messy in Season 2. The constant will they, won't they dance got seriously frustrating for fans. It might have been the point where their romance hit a rough patch. And then, Season 3 dropped the bomb by making us wait until the very end for their long-awaited first kiss. Instead of running with that exciting development, they sent Maeve packing off to the US, setting up Season 4 for a bit of a stumble. So yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster for these two, hasn't it? Season 4 shows their incompatibility. Maeve's journey in Sex Education had always been about aiming high, and you couldn't really blame her considering her tough upbringing. She spent years in Moordale, where her mom's constant struggles meant Maeve had to fend for herself and her younger sister. So when she snagged that writing grant in the US, it was hard to fault her, even if it meant a rocky road for her and Otis. Sure, her time across the pond wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, especially with Thomas Mulloy crushing her dreams, but it was a chance for her to escape the small-town bubble. Now, Otis, on the other hand, seemed pretty content living the Moordale life. He never really talked about wanting to spread his wings and explore the big, wide world. Maybe it's because he had a comfy setup in suburbia, with a spacious house thanks to his therapist mom, Jean. Money worries weren't exactly on his radar, so the thought of settling down in his hometown didn't sound like a bad deal. The thing is, their different motivations, desires, and worldviews made it clear they might not be a match made in heaven. This became painfully evident during their short-lived stint as a couple in Moordale during Season 4 of Sex Education. Sometimes, love just isn't enough when you're on different pages. There was no other solution to their dilemma, so when Maeve initially jetted off to the States at the end of Sex Education Season 3, she was all like, "Don't worry, this separation is just temporary. We'll be back together soon." That gave both of them this glimmer of hope, this belief that they'd eventually reunite and live happily ever after. But here's the twist. Maeve got a taste of life beyond Moordale, and she realized she had bigger dreams.
It's good to be back in business. Have fun with the smart kids. You look great.
Otis, on the flip side, knew he wasn't quite on the same page. He understood Maeve's grand ambitions, and when she brought up the idea of giving long distance another shot, he had a moment of clarity. He knew deep down that trying to keep her tied to Moordale would be holding her back from her dreams. So, they made the tough call to end it. Honestly, there wasn't a more sustainable solution to their Season 4 dilemma. Otis hit the nail on the head, attempting another long-distance thing, knowing the struggles they faced the first time around would have been pointless. Plus, they weren't actively working towards a future where they'd be together. By breaking up while they were still in each other's presence, they got a chance to have a proper farewell. Maeve even penned a heartfelt letter to Otis, which gave them both some much-needed closure. Sometimes parting ways is the only way to move forward, Can they ever get back together after the events of Season 4? So, Sex Education Season 4 marked the end of the series, but Laurie Nunn, the creator, has been dropping hints that Moordale's story might continue through other avenues. Not surprising at all, given how darn popular the show is. And this opens up the possibility of revisiting Otis and Maeve's love saga down the line. But here's the kicker. There's no solid confirmation that this universe will keep on trucking. So, it made sense for Season 4 to give our favorite couple a clear-cut ending without any teasing of a future reunion. Now, as for whether they could rekindle their romance someday, it all boils down to whether one of them has a change of heart. At this point, it's kinda hard to picture them riding off into the sunset together, even if Maeve decides to stick around Moordale. They're just so different, which was painfully evident in their Season 4 stint together. It's a bit baffling, right? These two who were supposed to be a match made in heaven seem to struggle with communication. And yeah, given Maeve's tough spot, you'd think Otis would be a bit more clued in on how to support his girlfriend through her grief. But hey, who knows what the future holds? The show matured with Otis and Maeve, so Sex Education Season 4 had its usual share of random gags. From hilarious Lord of the Rings impersonations to those surreal moments that remind you of the underrated show Los Spookies. But here's the cool part. It also had these moments of real depth. Now, in a lesser series, that mix of humor and somberness could feel totally off, but Sex Education pulls it off like a pro. Some of those heart-to-heart chats between characters are so damn well written and acted that they hit you like a truck even amidst all the silliness. Seriously, there's this monologue by Emma Mackey towards the end that's just pure perfection, capturing Maeve's essence in the most graceful way possible. It's quick, but it shows the show's willingness to sit with sadness instead of just brushing it off with a joke. And here's a twist. At some point, you'll realize they haven't even cracked a sex joke in ages. Not that we don't appreciate those, but it paints a picture that Sex Education has grown up a bit. The characters are comfortable in their own skin now, pushing the story into the emotional territory that comes with growing up. It's not always flawless in how it handles this, but it gets pretty darn close considering all the stuff it had to juggle. And let's talk about the finale. It's just pure magnificence. One of the best endings a show like this could have asked for. From the very start to the end, Sex Education was a wild mix of messiness, humor, and sincerity. And in this final season, it hit a whole new level of brilliance. So farewell to these hilariously awkward kids, and good luck out there in the world. It was a blast watching you grow up in all your chaotic, horny glory. That's all for today's video. Do you think Otis and Maeve will ever get together again? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, then please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
What?
Sometimes I feel so happy.
I think I'm gonna have to punch you in the face if you ever buy me a birthday present again.